I will show you how to do this in Unreal Engine 5. This funny example will show you a lot of useful things. You will learn how to model inside Unreal, how to create blueprints, how to animate, how to use blueprint communications, how to add UI animations, sounds, camera effects, and much more. Learn to create an action game in Unreal Engine 5. Start the first lesson for free at unfgames.com. Okay, so let's create our new project. I'm here in the Epic Games Launcher. I'm just gonna go here to the library and you will see that all the projects that I have. I will just click launch here. If you don't have this, you just need to click the plus icon and choose the engine version that you wanna use. In my case, I'm just gonna use the 5.1 version. So let's click launch and it will load a little bit the launcher. So you will see here a window where it's just basically loading stuff. It's not gonna take much. So once it finished loading, you will see a window where you can select which kind of template you want to use for your projects. In my case, I'm going to use games here. Okay, so I won't touch in any one of those because we focus on games. But you're free to choose any kind of template you want depending on the project you're working. So let's choose a third person because we want a third person character running in our game. And let's just rename this project my tutorial, I don't know, traps, something like that. Okay. And we don't need to check anything for now. Let's just click create and we're good to go. I'm gonna show you the basics of Unreal. If this is the first time you're using it, stay with me. I'm gonna show you all the basics. If you are already experienced, then feel free to skip this part and go to the next section. So this big screen you see here is the viewport. The viewport is basically the representation of how your game will look like when you launch it. So this is a way you can preview the game. So I'm going to show you ways you can navigate here. By holding the right mouse click, you can rotate the camera around just like this. And by still holding it, just like you're moving in a game with W, S, A, and D, you will be able to orbit around just like that. Okay, just like a camera. You can move around with the mouse. And personally, this is my preferred method of navigating inside Unreal. Okay, so other things you can do, you can press the middle mouse click here. Okay, and you will be able to pan around in 2 axes. You can also press the left mouse click and move it. And as you move it, you will see it's like kind of like a spaceship, like you're moving. And this time you're moving like in 2 axes. Okay, so now there are some objects here in the scene. Okay, you can select them by just clicking on them, and you will see that you have the outliner here. Something is selected here. For example, I select this cube here, and you will be able to see the selection here. Okay, you can click here or click here and click here, and basically you have the outliner here at your right, which is a list of all the actors that you have in your scene. So what can I do with an actor? First, let's see how we can navigate around an actor. We can just move here by holding the right mouse click and using the WASD keys to move around and just focus on this actor. But an easier way is just to press the letter F. Or for example, I can press this one and press F, and you will be able to focus on this actor. While I'm doing this, I will hold the Alt key and I will right click and zoom out and zoom in, just like that. I can also, while holding the Alt key, I can left mouse click to rotate around. And this is just a nicer way to orbit around a particular object you want to focus on. Now, if you want to move it, you see here that I have some handles here. So what I have here is basically the select, the move, the rotate, and the scale. Okay, you see that I can either click here and you can see these handles here, and I can move it across any axis, just like that. I can rotate like this. I can scale it. And I can also select. If I don't want to move or rotate anything by mistake, I can just select the arrow. You see that there are some hotkeys here, the R, the E, and the W. This is very common across the industry. You press W to move, E to rotate, R to scale. Okay? Now, if you notice, as I scale these things, there is a number moving on the right. This is my details panel. And if you don't see here, you go to Windows, go to Details, or alternatively, just press F4, and you will be able to see the Details panel. So here you can also change the location by changing the properties here, just by holding the left mouse click, and you can just move around. I can just type a number, for example, 800. Okay. I can change the rotation here if I want. Okay. And the same thing, I can do it in the viewport. There are a bunch of options here that we will take a look later, but for now, the transform details are one of the most important. Let's take a look at other ways to move the object. As you can see here, I have my world transform here. You see this world icon here. This means all the axes are moving in the world view, which is here at the left corner. Okay. So if you want to move across a particular direction a face is facing, for example, this one, you can just click here and you will see that the axis change. And now I can move here or move here in other axes. And depending on how the rotation of my object, I can just move along the local space of the object. Okay, let's just go back here. The next one is the snapping. Here you have a snapping of 10, and I don't know if you notice, but it's snapping a little bit. If I increase this, for example, like 100, you will be able to see the snap here. Okay, now you see a grid here is changing as I continue to change the snapping. I will get like different kind of grid here. There you go, like 5,000, 100, it becomes smaller, and 10, it becomes even smaller. Okay, so if you don't want this, okay, for example, you have like 500, you can snap this. This can be useful for some times. You can just click here and you will be able to move freely. Okay, you won't snap to anything. The same can be said about the rotation and the scale. You can rotate by 10 degrees, or you can just remove this and just rotate like this. And the same for the scale. You can scale like 0.25, or you can just change it if you want. The next one, very important, the camera speed. So you can just increase the camera speed. If you have like a bigger level, you can just put like this, for example, like 7. You will see that I will be able to move super fast. Okay, let me just put this back to 4. And a good way to change the camera speed is like right click and just while holding the right mouse click, you can just use the scroll wheel to go down and up while you're moving, so you can move slow or faster. This is my favorite way of doing it, so it depends on you if you want to use this one, or you can use both in the combination. Like you can just have a speed, very high speed with low, the other speed very low. Depends on you. Okay. There are a bunch of things here. I'm not gonna show you all of them, but some of them can be a little bit important. If you go here, you will see real-time turn on. If you don't see things moving, like a fire or something, make sure this one is on. You will see real-time is off here. Okay. The next is if you want to show the FPS, you can check the frames per second. Now, and there are a bunch of viewports here, like the unlit mode to check the colors, the wireframe mode to check the wireframe, the detail lining to check the details aligning, and everything. These one are the most important ones. That's why they have the hotkeys Alt4, Alt3, Alt2, and so on. Okay, so let me go back to lead. Now, a very important thing. Some of you may have, hey, what do? I don't have the computer to run Unreal Engine. Well, you can just go to settings here. And when you go to engine scalability settings, you can just change this, like for example, to very low. As soon as you do that, the engine will load a little bit. Just wait a little bit. There you go. And it will like load the shaders for like the lowest quality. Okay, so let's just go back to settings and let's just put this back to epic. Okay, and just be aware that if you don't have like the computer to run Unreal, don't worry, you can always change the setting. It's not ideal, but it's a workaround. It's cheaper than buying a new computer. Okay, so we take a look at the settings and everything here. You are ready to create a new level. So before doing that, let me talk about the content browser. So what is the content browser? The content browser is a way for you to check all the content that your game has, all the files. So if you see here in the top left corner, you will see a content drawer. You can click here. Or alternatively, you can use Control Space here and you will be able to show and hide the content drawer. Here you have a bunch of folders. So I will right click here, for example, and create a new folder. I can rename this like my first game, something like that. Okay, and I can go here and right click and clear folders and basically any kind of asset that I need. We will create new assets as we continue to work on this project. Just I wanted to show you the content drawer, and if you don't have it, you can also go to the content browser. Sorry, yeah, not if you don't have it, everyone has it. But if you want like a bigger screen space, or you have like a second monitor like I do, I can just move it here and put it in anywhere I want. I can just click here. I can just have another content browser here, and you can have multiple content browser windows. You can go window, content browser, and you can have like 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this is a way you can just navigate through assets. For example, I can go to the third person folder. I can go to blueprints, and you will see that I have my character here and all the classes that is using. So now let's create a new level. So let's go to file. Let's go to new level. And in my case, I'm not gonna choose an open world, although you can. I'm just gonna choose the basic one. And I'm gonna just click create. And I'm not gonna save this. And what you will see here is that you have some actors already put inside the level. Now, if you want to know how this was created, I'm gonna show you right now. Instead of creating a new level and going to basic, I'm just going to create an empty level. So you can see now that everything is black and I don't have any actor. So a way you can add actors here is just by clicking the green plus icon. Or for example, I can add like a cube here. And then you will see that I have my actor here. Let me just delete this with the delete key. I can, for my case, I just want to add lights because I want to have the sky and the clouds and everything. So I can just, instead of putting like directional light here and then go to other types of lights, I can just go use an easier way. I can just go to window and I can use the environment light mixer. And here you can just create everything. I can create a skylight. I can create a atmosphere light. I can put a sky atmosphere. I can create volumetric clouds. I can create volumetric fog. And basically, I can create anything, right? So now, one thing I will do here before starting out, I will create a real-time capture here. Turn on. Okay, this will turn on my real-time global illumination, and my directional light, it's already movable here. You see that I have all the actors in the middle. Now let me create a floor. So let's just go back here. We can either go to shapes or we can just go to modeling. I will show you the modeling later. Let's just go to shapes, to the cube here. put it in position. And what we're gonna do is gonna scale it like this, just like that, okay? I'm gonna put it here. And now we have a floor for our character. So now that we have the basic setup, if you are completely new to Unreal Engine, now you are good to go. If you are already experienced with it, I hope you have skipped to the next part. But now let's start creating our little game. So now that we have everything, basically, what we're gonna do is to create some traps, because in our game there will be like some spikes that go up and down. If the player touch it, like it will like die, right? So we're gonna do that by going to the modeling mode, okay? And I already saved this level. That's the first thing you should do. If you don't, go to here and then save current level. In my case, I already have it, so I will put as. I will just select a location where I want it, and I just name it level 01. So let's go to the modeling tools, okay? And what we will create is a cone, because you know we're basically doing spikes. Now I won't go into all the details here of the modeling tools. If you want, we have a complete tutorial on all these features that you see here, where you can model inside Unreal. So make sure to check that out if you want to learn how to model, but we're gonna just choose some of them. So I already played with the settings here, as you can see. So by default, the radius will be like 50, and I want something like more aggressive, right? So let's just put like 25 here. And this looks like a nice, it looks aggressive enough to me, right? So let's just click here, accept. And what we're gonna do is to basically duplicate these spikes by holding the Alt click. You can duplicate objects, Alt click, and then you can just Control click on the 4 of them, and let's just duplicate them a bunch of times, like this, for example. Alt click, Alt click. There you go. So now you have your spikes. The problem with this is that we have a lot of meshes here. So what I want to do is to basically select the cone here, and I will go here, and just by shift clicking, I will select all the cones. I will make sure I'm selecting those just like this. Okay, there you go. So now what I will do is to go here to the mesh merge tool, and this will create a new asset. I'm gonna put multiple spikes, okay? It will be a new object. It will also be the input. The output will be from the input, okay, which is a static mesh. And then we're gonna delete the inputs, which means we're gonna delete all of them, okay? So let's accept this. And now that we have this, you will see that we have our spikes here. Perfect. So what else we can do? Well, we can create a base for this. So we can just create a box here. Let me just put the box in this position here. Click accept. And now I'm going here to the poly edit mode, so I can change the polygons. So I can just move this one like this. Move this one like this. There you go. Click the face and move it. Again, if you want to learn more about the modeling tools, we have a complete tutorial on that, so don't worry. And now we're just gonna go here and let's just see if this is good enough. Looks like, let's just move this one like here. Looks okay to me. So now we're gonna move this one and then just put it down. Just something like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, what else we can do? Well, we can create, we can put a bevel on this. So we can just go to poly edit, go here, and then you can put a bevel here. As soon as I click that, you will see that I will have a bevel. I have the bevel distance here. I can change it if I want. Or you're just gonna leave it at 4 just for now. And then just click accept, and I will have like a bevel in my base. Now what I want to do is because this object will be like this, where it's like you don't see me and you see me, and if you touch it, you are dead. You can just click here, okay, and then click on this one. Actually, click on the base first, and then click on this one, and we're gonna create some holes. So what we're gonna do is to use a mesh boolean, okay, and this will create some holes, okay. Now, I don't want to delete these spikes, okay, so by default the operation will be subtract, okay. We're gonna leave it like that, and then on tool accept, we're gonna keep the inputs. We're not gonna delete them. By default here is delete. We're gonna keep them. So let's accept. And now you will see that I have holes here. I can just go back here. Actually, what happened here? Let's just, oh, so we have our mesh here. Let's just hide it with H. And this one, we're just gonna move it here. Control H. And apparently we kept all the inputs. So now that we have this, we can just go back here and, we have something here. Perfect. So let's just delete this one. And now we have created our trap, which is great. Now what we will do is to create a blueprint so that we can have the behavior like, oh, you see this trap? Like it's like this. Now it will move up and down, just like that, okay? So we're gonna leave it like this for now, and we're gonna create a blueprint. So let's create our first blueprint. So how do we create a blueprint using these components? So let's go to Control Space here, and what we're gonna do is to basically go to our first game here, which is our folder, and we're gonna right click and create a blueprint class here. So I'm just gonna click on this one, and you will have a bunch of options, like an actor is a class you can just put in the world, a pawn is something you can possess, a character is like the player character, controller, and so on. There are a bunch of things. We have complete tutorials on blueprints too, if you want to look deeper into this. But we're gonna do something fun. We're gonna create an actor here, and we're gonna call it BP trucks, something like that. Okay, let's just save it. Double click on this, and you will open the blueprint window here. I will just drag it into my screen. There you go. So what you have here is, first you have the viewport, which is all the components that you see here on the left. If they have a visual representation, they will appear here, okay? So we're gonna touch about the event graph and the construction script later. Actually, we're not gonna touch the construction script, only the event graph. So what we want to do is to create a blueprint with the components that we create before. So if you take a look at the level, if you press Ctrl B, you will be able to browse where is our mesh. So as I click on this one, you can put a static mesh, and put a static mesh components. And you see, because I selected the spikes here, that now I have automatically assigned the mesh. If you don't see it, basically what you need to do is to go here to the right, okay? And now you can select any kind of mesh you want. For example, you want like this thing. In our case, we're just gonna choose this one, okay? Now it's going to choose at the base. So let's go back to our level, click here, Control B to select it, because I have multiple of those. I will use select this one, and I will add a selection here, okay? I will just put it in the scene root because I don't want this to be the parent. So I can just go here and then go to basically a static mesh, go here, and you will see that I have everything on place. You can always move it if you want, But in my case, I'm just gonna leave it at 0, okay? Actually, I can just move it a little bit. Let me remove this. Let's try to put it in position. There you go. So now if we try to play with this, you will see that we have our blueprint. Okay, so what can we do? Well, first off, let's delete these things for now. We don't really need them. So we're gonna go here to my first game and then drag this thing here. Now, if I play here, you will see that my character starts where my camera is. So if I go like really high, I will just like jump from here. And it's a good start to, it's a good practice to have the player start here. So I will just go to the green plus icon, go to basic, and then just go to player start. And I'm just going to rotate it. You see, we have an arrow here. We can just rotate it like 180 degrees, so it will face this direction. So now no matter where my camera is, I can be here, press play. I can just go here, and you will see that I have collision, right? And I really don't want that. So let's change this. The first thing is we're gonna go here, and we're gonna open this static mesh editor, okay? So as soon as I click on this, you will see that I have my static mesh editor. It's a place where I can just do changes to the static mesh, to the properties. And if I go to show and go to simple collision, you will see that it's using these purple lines. This means this is complex collision, and it's using all the polygons that my mesh has to do the collision of this static mesh. I really don't want that. And the reason is it can be really heavy, especially if you have a lot of polygons. So what I can do here is type complex. And instead of using this use complex collision as simple, I just go to project default, and you will see that I don't have any collision, which is what I want. So if I go here, I don't have any collision, right? And I don't want to have the collision actually. So I will just leave it like that. I'm gonna do the same for the base. So if I go here, double click on this one, you will see that I have my base here. I can type complex, use project default. And now what I can do is to put an approximate collision based on this shape, which in this case should be like a box. So let's just go to collision and add box simplified collision here. There you go. So now if we go here, we have the collision for this, but we don't have the collision for the spikes, which is what we want. Now I can just duplicate this if I want multiple spikes on my level, and I can just put them here. Great. So now that we create the blueprint here, we're gonna add some behavior into this. And we're gonna basically animate this so I can just go up and down. All right. And you know, that's it. Let's continue to add behavior to this. So we have our trap blueprint. Now we need to add some behavior. So now we're gonna go to our blueprint, and we're gonna go to the event graph here. Now the event graph is where you will put all the logic here. And let me hide the camera so you can see more things. You will have variables here, event dispatchers, and a bunch of things. And here we see the properties, okay? So in my case, in order to animate this thing, basically I need to move them, right? So I can just go here, right click, and then go to timeline. A timeline, it's basically like over the period of time. Let me double click on this, and let's put the length of 1, for example, track, and this just add the float track. Okay, now over a period of 1 second, you will give me a value from 0 to 1. If you were to increase the length, for example, like 2 or something, you will have over a period of 2 seconds, you're gonna give me a value of 1. So we're gonna leave it at 1, and we're gonna right click here and add key to curve float. We're gonna leave it at 0, 0. Right click here, and we're gonna put the 1 on time and the value 1. Now you can change this if you go here. I believe you can right click here. Yeah, you can right click and then go to auto, and you will have like a smoother curve here. Let's compile. So basically this is our timeline. So let's, how do we move this? Well, we can put the multiple spikes here. Okay, let's just rename this by pressing F2 and typing SM spikes. And this one will be my SM base. Okay, SM from static mesh. So let me just grab the spikes here. And now you will see that I have a reference from here, my viewport. If you click here, you will see that I have my spikes. Now if I drag here, I have a reference of my spikes, which you can also see here in the components tab. What I can do is basically put a translate. Basically set actor, set location. There you go, set location, and you can just put a set world location or set relative location. There you go. So let's just play this. I'm gonna play here, event begin play, and then it starts playing. And as it updates, I'm just gonna put this thing here. Okay, the new location. Okay, this is, by the way, this is how the flow works inside of Blueprint. Like first do this, then do this, then do this. What I need to do is to basically, let's rename this. So let's just double click on this. A new track will be my, I don't know, my position value. There you go, my position value. If I go here, you will see that this is a float, and a float is basically like, you know, you have a vector here, like for example, 0, 0, 0, and a float is only a vector 1, which is only like 1, right? So if I want to put a value here, I want to change the z-axis so it can move up. I need to basically put this value here and put the 1 here, right? Or any other value. So what I can do, and instead of putting 1, I'm just gonna put like multiply here and then click on this one. I'm just gonna put something like 100 to make it very obvious. Okay, and now what I can do is to create a make vector. Okay, and you can see here that I'm adding to the x value. I don't want that, so I'm gonna click Alt, and now I'm gonna drag this here, and I'm gonna basically change the location here. So let's compile. Click Alt P. Now you will see what happens is when I start, they move. Right now, I want them to start like down, right? So I want them to go up and down, up and down. So instead of using this begin play, and actually I'm gonna create an event. So what I can do here is basically right click and put a add custom event, and this will be like play forward, and my play forward will start from here, play from start. There you go. And then I'm gonna create another custom event, play backwards. Custom event, play backwards. I can actually change this like this. There you go. I can just reverse from end. So now that I have my events, I just need to get the direction of this. And if you see here, you will see a direction value here. This is a enum, which is basically like a list of things that this timeline has. That's the best way I can explain it. So if you go to utilities and then go to enum, you can go here to equal. Okay, so what this will give you is, hey, is this going forward? Then this just put a branch here, which is basically an if. Okay, so in the update, we will go to the branch here instead of go to the relative location. And actually, let's just go to the update here and then just connect this one here. Now, if this is true, if you're moving forward, then I want you to move backwards. So here in the play backwards, I'm just gonna go here and put a play backwards. And if it's false, if you're not moving forward, I want you to move forward. Play forward. Okay? Now let's take a look. Let's see if it works. So if I go here, play from here. Now looks like it doesn't work. Let's see why. Maybe it's the order. So actually what I can do is when it's finished, I will change the condition. Just like this. It was an error logic. Okay. Actually, let's play here in the begin play. There you go. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, and so on, and so on. So, how you can change this? Well, basically, there are a couple of ways. You can change this, like for example, -100. Let's just start from here. Okay. Or maybe -200, something like that. And that's it. You can either do that, or you could go to the viewport and change the position of this. Okay, but I'm gonna keep it like that so that I can see where my traps will end up. Okay, so now that I have this, what I want to do is to basically expose some variables. So for example, I can change like the how far they go and everything. So this one can be a promote to variable. So this can be like my position length, something like that. And by default, it's going to be -200. So we're going to multiply by -1. There you go. -1 and put it here. Let's accept. And that's it. So now that I go here, I can just I don't see my variable. You see that I have a new variable is created here on the left. I can just click here in the eye icon, and now I can just play from here. And now you will see that my position length, let's just put it back to 200. And you can see I have different values for different things. For example, I can put like 100 on this. And it will always be like this, right? So you can have like different behaviors. Now you see that there is a small clipping here. You can just move this up a little bit, and this should fix the issue. Let's just go back here. There you go. So now we have our traps. The next thing we need to do is to basically kill the player, right? There are a bunch of ways we can do that. First, we need a trigger so that when the player touch this, it dies, right? So we're gonna add that next so that we can have some behavior in our game. So we have our spikes here, but nothing happens when the player goes inside, right? It should die, right? So what we're gonna go now is to our viewport and now go to add and then type box here, and you will put a box collision. And as soon as I do that, you will see that I have a box here. What I will do is to basically parent this box to my spikes. So I can just put it here, just like that. And I can move it up like this. Okay, put it like here, and then just change the box to 100 to 100, maybe something like that. Maybe a little bit less, like 80 by 80. 95 by 95. There you go. It should be enough to get you killed, right? Um, so I want to put it like this, right? And I'm just gonna change this. I can actually change the scale if I want, but I'm gonna change it here. And I'm just gonna put it just right here. There you go. So I'm gonna rename this by clicking here and then press F2 and then put my trigger box. Compile. And nothing will happen because basically I don't have an event here. So if you go here to the viewport and you click here, let me open the details panel a little bit. You will see here on the right have a bunch of events. And in my case, I want to onBegin overlap and click plus. Now, what I will have here is an onBegin overlap. Basically, you can let's put a print screen, okay? And let's just type like ouch. Compile and let's see what happens. And you see that it's basically activating, and I haven't really touched it. And the reason is this thing is movable. So if you go here to the traps, you go to this the base, you will put it as a static. Okay. Let's compile and play again. Apparently, this one is also movable. So what we will do is to change this onBegin overlap, the trigger box. We're going to change this and overlap only pound. Okay, there you go. Overlap only pound. Okay, and then when you click here, you will see that I will overlap only that pound character. If I go here, ouch. Okay, ouch, and so on. So this is great. So what we can do now is to basically send a message to this player that, hey, this spike has hit the player and we want to do something with the player blueprint. Okay, so what we will do is create an interface. So let's go back here to the content drawer and right click, then go to blueprints and create an interface. We will call it the BPI, I don't know, traps, BPI traps, something like that. Okay. Now, what is an interface? It's basically you can call some functions here, like for example, this will be my take damage. Oh, sorry, oops. Take damage. There you go. So when you take damage here, you will have different things for different objects. For example, the character maybe dies, right? Has a death animation or anything. Or maybe you have the death traps apply damage to maybe, you know, an object and it will destroy. So different things have different behaviors. So let's put a category here. Let's just put like traps. Maybe let's just put it step it on trap. There you go. Or touch trap. Something like it touched the trap, that's it. Okay. So when it touched the trap, you will see here now, if I go here and type touch trap, there is a message here, a little icon here. And what this means is that this is calling an interface. It's like it's gonna send an email here. Let me just connect this once. And it's gonna send an email to everyone. Let's just say use to anyone that is calling this function. What is the target? The target is an other actor. If you want to see the other actor, you can just go here, get display name. Okay. So the other actor, we're sending this information to the touch trap. So if I play here, you will see that the actor that we're sending is this VP third person character 0, which is here in the right in my outliner. Just right there. Okay, so what I will do is to basically apply some damage to my character. So what I will do now is go to my third person, go to blueprints, then go to character here. I double click on this one, and you will see that I have my character. Now it has a bunch of functionality already implemented, but what I need to do is to go to the class settings here, okay, and then I'm gonna click here on inherit interface, and I'm gonna type trap, PPI traps, and I'm going to implement this interface that I create before. So now you will see that I have my traps here with my category. Now you see why the category is useful, because if I have a lot of actors in my game, then I will need some categories to make things easier. So what I can do is implement event. And as soon as I do that, you will see that I have an event like this, but unlike this one, you have like a little icon here that it says it's an interface. So what I can do, it's basically drag here and put a print screen. Let's just say the character knows that he should die, something like that. Okay, so let's right click, play from here. Now let's just go here, and now you see that the message is on top left. The character knows that he should die, and that's it. Now that we have this, we know that we have successfully make the communication between this trap and the character. The next thing we need to do is basically add the font stuff. Like I want to go for the GTA look, like the wasted, and the camera looks like black and white. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add some ragdoll, like it's gonna die. So we're gonna do that next. So let's start adding some ragdoll. So we're gonna go here to the third person character, and we're gonna basically create a function. Okay, so let's go here, and basically let's just add it here. Okay, so let's just grab the mesh, and let's put set simulate physics. If you go here to the mesh and you see the right, you will see that you have a bunch of properties here, and one of them is the collision. And in the collision, you have the character mesh, but you also have the ragdoll. So let's click on this one. Okay, so when we hit the touch trap, let's simulate with physics. So let's go here. Let's just, and now what happens is that actually I can still move. I cannot move my character, but basically I can still move with my WASD keys. I can actually fall down. So we don't want that. We want to disable the input. So we're gonna go here to the third person blueprint, and let's just go here to disable input. And that's it. So let's see what happens now when we go here, play the game, see if we can pass a life. No, we didn't. And we're dead. And now we don't really, we can't really move, which is a good thing. Okay, so I want to organize these things a little bit. So what I will do is to select all of this, right click, and then collapse into function. And this function will be called basically kill player, something like that. Kill the player. Kill the player. There you go. So kill the player will do a bunch of things. And if I double click on this, you will see here that I have a bunch of functions here. If you see here, I have some functions here. One of them is kill the player. And whenever kill the player gets called, it will simulate physics and disable the input. Now that we have this, let's add more functionality. So what I want to add now is basically a black and white screen when the player dies. So I'm going to do that with a post process. So what is a post process? It's basically like you can change the whole scene after the rendering is finished. So I will show you what it is right now. I can just type post process. And I can just type it like player post process. I can just drag it here if I want to access this post process volume. Now, if you want to check the properties, just click here. And in the right, you will see that, for example, you have a bunch of settings here. I can go to color grading, for example. I can reduce this, compile. And now what I can do when I play from here, you will see that everything is like super blue. Too blue, actually. So it's like super cold. I'm going to leave it all the default values here. Okay, you can change them if you want. But for now, I'm going to create a variable here. And this variable, basically, I'm just going to set, let's just say if we can set the properties here, like set settings. There you go. Set settings. So we're going to set the settings. Okay. And which settings we're going to put? We're going to go here and we're going to promote it to a variable. So go here, and this will be my dead post process setting. There you go. So when I go here, I can just keep the player and put the post process like this, right? Let me just move these things a little bit so I can be a little bit more organized. I can just put it here. Okay. And now what I can do is to change the values here. Let me compile to see the everything here. I can just type here saturation. Go here. And here I can just put the value of 0. Okay. There you go. 0. And now when I play my game, let's just see what happens. So I run into my game and bam. Now I have my character here is dead and my post process is black and white, which is great. Let's try if we can actually make it without dying. Let's go. Our game is too hard. We can change it later. But for now, our post process is working just fine. So I want to add one thing before moving forward, is that I want to have like a slow motion, because when I die, like it's like super fast. And I really don't want that. So I'm going to the third person character. And here I'm gonna put actually not here. Let's just say, yeah, let's just put it here. Set time dilation, global time dilation. And by default, it's like 0. So we can just go here and see what happens. Everything just stop. So this is a good way for you to test your game. If you want to like have a combat game and you want to take a screenshot, you can press a key and set the global time dilation to 0. But this is not what we want now. We want this to be like 0.5 maybe. And then let's just go here and try to play with it. That's it, much better. It's like the slow-mo adds a lot of character to. There you go. Right. So now that we have our slow motion, let's add the wasted title. So to add the wasted icon, I can just browse through any image on the internet, and I can just right click, copy image, and then go here to Photoshop. Okay. And then I can go to new file, and then basically paste it. I don't need the black background, so I will press W, or you can just do the quick selection or the magic wand tool. If I do the quick selection, it will do something like this, and I can continue to do this like this, and basically I can just use the magic wand tool if I want. There you go, much better. Let's zoom in a little bit with W, press here, delete, delete, good enough. So I don't need the background, so I will just go here and remove it. And what I will do is to do the crop here with the C, and then make the image go really small, just like this. Now what I can do here is Control S to save it. And what I can do is to basically save this. I already saved one here. So wasted UI2. Okay, and save it. And now we can import it into Unreal. So let's go back to Unreal. Let's go here. Let's go back to the content browser. And on my first game, let's just import some texture here. So the way you import content is just right click in the content drawer and import to my game. There you go. Now what you can do is basically find the place where you want to use. For example, in my case is here. There you go. And I can just either this one or this one. It really doesn't matter. This one has a nicer name, so let's just use it. Let's open this. Okay, and now that I have this, let me double click on this. You will see that you have the icon here. The first thing you're gonna do is to put a texture group to UI, and then you're gonna go to the compression settings and put user interface. And that's it. That's all you need to do. So now that you have this, what we need to do is to create a widget that has this, this wasted icon. So we're gonna do that next. So now that we have our wasted image, we just need to add it into the viewport. And the way we do that is by widgets. Widgets is like the user interface you put like in the player so that they can see the information. Okay, so in this case, I want to put the wasted icon. So I'm gonna go here, okay, and what I'm gonna do is to right click and then create user interface. I'm gonna choose widget blueprint, and what this does, in my case, you're not gonna use this one. Use user widget, okay, and I'm gonna call it W underscore wasted. Okay, so this will be the widgets for our wasted. Let's double click on this, and what you will see here, I will put it in my window here. Okay, what you will see here, it's basically a window where you can just put stuff. For example, you can put an image, you can put a slider. Let's delete this one. You can put a slider, something like that. You can put checkbox, buttons, basically anything that is inside the user interface. In our case, of course, we want the image, but we don't want any size, because if we drag it here, let's say, for example, let's drag our image here in our hierarchy, you'll see that we have our image. So if I choose this image here, right here on the right side, you will see that I have my properties. Okay, so I can put my image here. Okay, and I don't want any size. So what I will do is to wrap it with a size box. And what the size box will do is to basically put this thing on the size that I want. In my case, I want here like 400 by 120. So I'm gonna do that. Width override and height override. 400 and 120. As soon as I do that, I should have my size box here. Okay, so let's see. That's my image here. Oh, instead of fill screen, put desired on a screen. Okay, do not put fill screen, just put desired on a screen here, and you will see that this has changed. Without this, like for example, again, replace with child, you will have something like this, which it's basically this number here. Okay, so let's just go back to what we had before. Okay, and what we're gonna do is to basically add it into our world. Okay, so we're gonna create another blueprint. I'm gonna right click, user interface, widget blueprint, and this time I'm gonna choose user widget, and I'm gonna call it widget blueprint main UI, something like that. Okay, so here I can put whatever I want. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a canvas panel. I can also use an overlay if I want it. I'm just gonna put a canvas panel, which it already has, and now I'm gonna put my widget I created. I can type wasted here, and you will see that I have a wasted button here. Great. Now I can go here and wrap with canvas panel, and now you will see that I have the size of the user interface that I want to have. Okay, so what I will do is to basically put this into the middle, so I can just put the anchor here, okay, in the middle. And now to make sure it's in the middle, I will just put 0 and 0. Okay, I can also put like the alignment in the center, I believe, or something like that. It doesn't matter. So I can just move this thing, basically put it like here. There you go. Okay, so now we have our wasted icon. Let's see how we can add it into our game now. So to add this UI, I need a way to add it into the screen, because if I play now, there is no UI showing, and I want the player to die and show like there's a wasted icon here, which that we created. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that by adding a player controller. So what is it? According to the gameplay framework, you have a pawn here, which is the character, has like a sword here. Okay, and this player is controlled like a kind of brain, okay, called the player controller, which is you, is the player. But actually there are many types of controllers. For example, the enemies are using AI controllers. So basically a pawn needs to be controlled by a player controller. So it makes sense to put the UI inside of here, because you can put the UI like the main menu and everything. So you can put it here if you want, but we're gonna keep things clean. So we're gonna add the UI here. So in order to do that, first we need to add the player controller. So let's right click, add blueprint class, player controller, and we will call it PC my trap game, something like that. And in order to use this player controller, first we need to go to the world settings here. And here in game mode override, I will just click here and use the third person game mode, which is what we're using. If you go here, nothing has changed, okay? So here I will change the player controller to PC my trap game. Now, technically, it's better to put this in the hot class, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep things simple, okay? So we're gonna open our player controller, and here in the event graph, we're gonna call the blueprint. So we can put create widget, and this will create a widget. Now, which class you're gonna create? Well, you're gonna create the WBP main UI. Okay. Now that you have this, let's see what happens when we play. we can still not see because we haven't told the game that we need to add this. So in order to add this, we're gonna go here. We can promote this to a variable if we want and call it my main UI. Okay. And now that we have this, we can go here and go add to viewport. Great. So let's add it. Let's play again. And you can see that I have my wasted icon here, which is great. Now it's a little bit small. So let's take a look at what's happening here. If we add this one, let's just say that it's not using the original size. Let's just put size to content. And now you will see that it has the original size that I had before. So I can just move this one here. Let's make sure it's in the center. There you go. Now let's play again. Now you will see that I have my wasted here. There's a little issue here. As you can see, the wasted starts at the beginning. So what we need to do is basically remove it and add some animation so that we can see the wasted only when the trap kills the player. So in order to remove this widget, I need to go here to the wasted icon. And here I can do a bunch of things, okay? I can like change the properties and everything. So what I will do is to basically create an animation, okay? I will have an animation here. I will click here. And this will be my intro animation, okay? Wasted. And then here I will track. Let's rename this like image wasted. And this will be my size box. I don't really need to change this name. So I can just go here to image wasted. Okay. And then I can just basically go here. And I will track from 0 to 1. Okay. What I will track is the render opacity. So I will start with 0. Okay. And when it's 1, I want to put 1 here. So if you play the animation, it's like this. Like it's fading. Okay. What else I want to track? I want to track the size box. Okay. So what we can have is basically the size box here. Right. Let's just track. Yeah. Let's just track the size box. And here we can track. No, not this one. Sorry. Let's go here. Let's just rename this like size box main. Okay, there you go, size box main. Now we can track this. And what we can track is the transform. Okay, and maybe I can do something like the scale. I can put something like 0.8 at the beginning in X and Y. And now I can go here and I can leave it at 1. Actually, it already put the 1 here. Oh, let's just put it like that. So how my animation looks like, it's like this. Awesome. Now, if we play here, we won't be able to see the animation because there is no way we told the blueprint that we need to play the animation, okay? So what else I need to do? Well, I need to play this animation in a function, okay? So this animation here is called intro animation wasted, okay? We will solve one problem first, is that the wasted is on all the time. So we're gonna go here to the graph, okay? And we're gonna go here to the image wasted, and then set visibility here. And here, by default, is visible. So what we will do is put hidden. Okay, so what we can do now is go here, and now you will see that my UI is hidden. Great. Okay, so what we will do now is to basically add this functionality when the player hits the trap. Now let's add this animation to the screen. So we just need to open the third person character. And if you remember, we have this function here that kills the player, where we put the slow motion and the ragdolls and everything. This is the perfect timing to add this UI. So what we're gonna do is to get the player controller. Okay, and now we're gonna put cast to my trap game. So now that we have this, we have access to this variable here that is main UI. So let's just put the get main UI. There you go. So now that you have the UI, you have a bunch of functions here. But if you check our blueprint here, and this has an option, this is get player state, get player state. There you go. Fix it. So now we can just open here in my first game. We can go to the W wasted. And you can see here that the visibility is hidden, right? We cannot call this one here. We need to call this menu here, the main wasted UI. Okay, and by default, the visibility is off. So what we want to do is to go here to our wasted here, and let's create a function we can use here. So what we can do is basically create a new function, and let's just call it wasted show wasted UI, something like that. And what it will do is basically grab the visibility of what we had here. Remember this image wasted? Let's set the visibility to on. So let's go back here, set visibility, and we will put it visible here. Let's drag this here. And now that it's visible, we want to play the animation. So this is the intro animation wasted, and we can just play animation forward. There you go. You can change the playback speed if you want. So now that we have this, we need to implement this function here. So we can just add a function, and it's like show wasted. And we can basically go here, get wasted, and then get wasted sounds very funny. Show wasted UI. There you go. And now that we have this, we can just call this function here. So we can go here to the main UI, and then you can go to show wasted. There you go. Let's go here, and let's connect this one here. So at this point, we just need to pray, and hopefully our logic is working. So let's go back here, and there you go, wasted. And the problem is, like, it's happening every time the traps are killing the player. It's okay, we can take a look at that later. But this is basically the way you connect with blueprints. You just need to check the hierarchy. Like, for example, you have the player controller here, who has the widget blueprint, and who has the widget. What is inside the widget? Blueprint is the widget, and here has the animation. So we need to do all this to reach to the player controller. We create the animation here. We call the function we create here, and then the player controller will call the function that is in here. And then the third person will call this function. So this is the way we can put actually connect with the UI. And you can do many things here, but because this is a beginner's tutorial, we're just gonna leave it like that. So one thing I want to do is to add like a little camera shake, so have like the effect that the camera move a little bit when I die. So if I play from here and I try to die, which is not that hard, you will see that my character just go there, but the camera just stay in position. So what I want to do is to move the camera just a little bit. And I'm gonna do that by basically creating a camera shake. So I'm gonna go to my content drawer here, and I'm going here to my first game. And we have everything here in this folder, but it doesn't matter. Let's just create a new blueprint class. We're gonna type camera shake. And you will see that you have here camera shake base. We're gonna use that. So click on this one and then select. And then I will call it my camera shake head. Okay. So when I open this, let me drag this here. You will see that I don't need to use the event graph. I just have these properties here that I have in the right. I have the root shake pattern. I can just go here and put a Perlin noise. Okay, and basically you can have different properties for this. First, the duration. Let's just put something like, I don't know, like 10 seconds. And we're gonna do something crazy. We can basically change how the camera moves in X, Y, and Z axis. And the Perlin noise is basically a wave like this, right? It's like sine waves. So it's like it will move to X and then will go back and so on. So the frequency, let me just delete this. The frequency that you see here, it's basically how often they are. The higher the frequency, the more waves you will see. And the amplitude is how high they are, like that, right? So if you have more frequency, it will take longer. Less frequency will take longer to go up and go down. And if you have more frequency, it will take shorter time to go up and down. So if you have like if you want like an earthquake, you need the frequency to be like super fast. In my case, I'm gonna leave the, I'm gonna just touch this once and I'm gonna leave all these three default by one. I'm just gonna put something like 10 and 10, just so that I can notice my camera shake when I create it. So now that I have this, I can just go to my third person blueprint here, go to my blueprints, go to third person character. And here I can apply camera shake. So what I can do is get camera manager, and then we can play camera shake here. Start camera shake. And what we will do is to basically put it here. Okay, and we need to select a shake class. We're gonna select the camera shake dead, camera local. That should be good enough. And the scale we're just gonna leave it at 1. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we're gonna play and let's see how it feels like. So you can see that my camera shake is actually happening and it's moving a lot. So what we're gonna do is to basically change these properties. We're gonna change this to maybe, we're gonna leave the amplitude to 10, but we're gonna change the frequency to 1. Let's see what this gives us. So when we die, so that's a little bit too low. Let me put the frequency to 100. sorry, the amplitude. Okay, we can go from there. Let's just go back to 50, and this one will be something like 0.25. Basically, I want it to move slower, so I do something like this, and there you go. Now I have something like a nice camera that is like floating here, and it's like it's coming back, and it's just a nice effect to have. And this is a really cool way to add camera shakes to your games. So now let's add some sounds. There is a lot of sounds of GTA in YouTube. I just download a video from there and extract the audio. It's like just search for YouTube to MP3, and then I convert this to a WAV file. So basically, let's import it. Okay, let's right click, import, and you will see that it's here, SW, sound wave wasted. So double click on this. Let's check how it sounds. Okay, perfect. So now that I have this, I can just right click and then create cue. And let's just call this sound cue wasted. Okay, just double click on this. And now let's just, it's not looping. That's exactly what we want. And let's just leave it like that. And we don't want override attenuation. So basically, this will be a 2D sound. It will sound anywhere. It won't be like spatialized, like in the 3D space where you put a like a wall and then the sound doesn't go through the wall. We don't want that. So very easy. We just put the sound here. Just keep adding more things. We can just put play sound 2D. There you go. And then we can put the wasted. Great. So let's try it out. Play from here. All right. So we got a little issue that it's playing 2 times. We're gonna fix that later, I believe. Let's see, depending on how long the tutorial is. So basically, yeah, there you go. Perfect. And you can check the sound with that. That's great. You can see how adding all these little things like the post process to make it black and white, the camera shake to make it move a little bit, the UI, the animation on the UI, and the sound work together to have like the total feeling of this feature. So let's fix the part that when we play our game, we will just die, and if we are close to this, it will start like triggering again over and over the the function. We don't want that. Easy way we can do it, and this is not the ideal way. We can go to our traps, and here we can just do a do once, and then click complete. Then now here, it will only play once. Okay, that's great. This is what we want. However, if we respawn, we need to also tell it, oh, how do we reset it? And we have a boolean here and everything. So let's just connect this one here. And instead, we're just doing it the legit way. So we're just going to the third-person character. In our kill the player function, let's just create a variable here called is dead. Okay, and let's just put this one here. Let's get it, and let's put a branch here. If the player is dead, do not go there. Basically, okay. So when we trigger this, we can just put a set here. Is dead? Yes, and that's it. Now we wouldn't be able to play this thing over and over. So let's try to take a look. Actually, yep. Let's see. So now that we have this, instead of having the traps, we're gonna use this variable here. Now we have the information of the player here in the other actor. Let's just cast to third person character. Okay, and then here, I'm gonna go here, and then it's like get is dead. Okay, so if the player is dead, let's just do it again. If the player is dead, then we don't do this. If it's not dead, then we touch the trap. Okay, and then we can maybe add some logic to respawn and everything, but for now we just care that it works. So just jump here, waste it, and that's it. Great. So it doesn't sound twice. Let me confirm this by just going here and dying in the spot. There you go. So now that I have this, the player won't be able to die twice, only once. You only die once. Remember that. So enough of blueprints. Let's just relax a little bit and try to make things a little bit more pretty, just so that I can show you how you can create like a simple level or something like that. Okay, first off, let's start decorating this blueprint. If we open it, and you can actually use the Control E to open this. Okay, we can go here to the static mesh, and here you can put some materials. Okay, let's go here, double click on this, and you will be able to see the static mesh here. Let's add some materials. In order to do that, we're going to add the starter content. So we can go here, like go to add, and then go here to add feature or content pack. And then we're going to go to content, starter content, add to project. And just like this, we have added new content. Okay, so what we can do here is look for the materials, which is basically is like a paint we will apply to the model we have here. For example, we're looking for some wood like this. So we just select this wood and then go here to our mesh and then just click here. And just by doing that, now we have our wood planks here, which is nicer, right? Now let's try to look for something like metal. Like for example, we can try to enter that metal steel, and then we can open our blueprint and basically open the spikes static mesh, and let's just click on this one. And let's see how it looks like. That's great. This is what we want. Okay, so now that we have this, now our traps look better. Much better, right? I'm sure you can agree with me. Awesome. Before wrapping things up, I want to show you how you can create a simple level just by using the modeling tools, just so that you can just play with the tools and everything, so you can have like a little game. So before wrapping things up, let's create like a simple level, because the traps are not really that fun unless you have like a little level you can play with. So I'm going to show you how you can create one. Let's go here to the selection mode and let's click on modeling, and make sure you don't have anything selected. For example, if I click on this one, I will be able to use the cube grid here, but it will replace this. So I don't want that. Make sure you don't have any static mesh selected, and then click on cube grid. Okay, and you will see that I have a grid here and a yellow line that if I click here and drag, I can just select which part I want to create my floor. So I can either pull, clicking here, like to pull the polygons, or push them down just like this. So I can just like pull and push, like Or I can use E and Q, very easy. So I can just go here, for example, I can create something like that. I can create like a little wall here, something like that. And let's click accept. Okay. And now we have our mesh here. Now what we can do is just put this one and put it in position, for example, like here. There you go. And now let's try to keep modeling here. Let's click on this one and let's keep adding more stuff. So we can just click E. And now we can basically extrude these parts like this. With shift, you can select multiple. And then we can just go back here and then select this one. And let's just say this is the goal. Like you need to go here to wing. And you can also use like the corner mode. So for example, you can like select these ones here and then just go to corner mode and then go to this one and this one, click on those and then click E to push or pull. Like for example, I want to just go here, click down, and then I want to go back to this one and just select something like this. And just like that, I can have a little level. So let's click accept. And now let's put the player start here, just like that. Now, if we play here, all right, go here to the green icon. Now you'll be able to see the player. Now let's play our little game here. Do it. Yes, we made it. And then we go here, and then it's like, I don't know, we win. And if we lose, consequences. Awesome. So before wrapping this up, what if you want to add a material here? Well, you can just drag something from the content browser here, from our starter content, any kind of material. For example, like this one. I like this one. We can just put it here. There you go. You can have like a checker. Now, if you want to change the UVs, you can always go to modeling and then go maybe to layout here. Instead of going to repack, okay, we can just do the transform and then we can scale it like 0.1, for example. Sorry, not here, just here, 0.1, 0.1 or 0.25. That looks like a nicer number, so let's just click accept. And now our squares are like bigger. We can always choose another thing if you want. We're just gonna have a nice checkerboard here. So that's it. We can always put this these straps in another place if we want. That's the beauty of this. So you can just go back here, play. There you go. Now we have our little game. Congratulations, if you have made it this far, you have created something nice. We have learned a lot about blueprints, about how to basically how to communicate between blueprints, how to animate objects. We learn how to create a little level. We learn how to make UI, camera shake, a lot of things. Hopefully, this has been a great learning experience for you. If you want to learn more, we have a lot of tutorials in our YouTube channel and our website where you can just learn for free a lot of topics, landscape materials, blueprints. If you want to get into blueprints, we have much more tutorials, much more in depth. You can take a look at. So yeah, just feel free to play with what you have learned here. Share with us what you create. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments which kind of video you would like to watch, and we may make a video about it. So I'm out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.